Hey, it's the Empire. Don't forget to hit the like button, the subscribe button, and the bell icon for more videos. We taking over. Let's go, champ. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button right now. Let's go.
Hey, it's the Empire. Geoboxing Empire. Back to boxing. Now, I'm going to talk about Bob Arum, man. And, when Andy Ruiz first won this Anthony Joshua fight, I was the first person to make a video talking about how Bob Arum was very upset about Andy Ruiz beating Anthony Joshua and how Bob Arum used to own Andy Ruiz. He used to be his promoter, and then he let him go. And as soon as he let him go, later that year, he became a champion, right? Crazy stuff, man. I was the first one to predict it, and now there's been articles coming out that actually support my claim that Arum's hating. He's mad that Andy Ruiz won, and he's trying to demean him and hype him up at the same time. Doesn't make any sense, right? Now I'm gonna get some quotes for you guys so you guys can't say I'm lying or whatever, and I'll link the article in the description so you guys can read it yourself. Now, this is from Bob Arum himself. He says, "It's not something I would have predicted," said Arum to Gareth Davies of the Telegraph. "Andy's a pretty good fighter. He has fast hands, quick feet, but he has absolutely no punch. He was in with a lot of guys who couldn't spell fight, and he beat them, but he couldn't knock them out. The fact that he knocked out a fighter like Joshua, who I'd seen on television and in person against Joseph Parker, it shocked me. Andy Ruiz is a lovely guy, but he's no Vladimir Klitschko. If Joshua was able to survive Klitschko, who can punch and knock him out, how the hell does Ruiz beat him? Unless it wasn't Joshua in the ring. Now that's something that can happen. Maybe he didn't train hard enough. Maybe he suffered an injury. When something like this happens, there may never be that Joshua again." Right? Now that's from Bob Arum himself, man. Now he even talked about how he's basically demeaning Andy Ruiz. Talked about how this guy can't punch, how he's been fighting lesser opponents that he couldn't knock out. How, that wasn't Anthony Joshua that night. That wasn't Anthony Joshua that night. And I talked about this. It's crazy because when I talked about Bob Arum hating on Andy Ruiz, that video got a lot of dislikes. It got 7 likes and 5 dislikes because people didn't want to see the truth. I mean, a lot of it's common sense. You just had a guy you signed. You didn't think much of him. Next thing you know, he's a world champion. The world unified champion and had one of the biggest upsets in boxing history, being one of the first Mexican-American champions ever. That being said, man, you guys see Bob Arum's quotes, man. I mean, it's just crazy stuff, man. The guy's talking about he can't punch, how he hasn't beat any decent opponents, he couldn't knock him out, and now Arum's making excuses for Anthony Joshua. That's complete hate from Bob Arum. Bob Arum made one of the biggest mistakes in his promotional career, and it's probably will go down in history. It's one of the dumbest dropping of fighters ever. In the dropping of Andy Ruiz, who became the first unified Mexican champion, heavyweight champion ever. Not only the first unified Mexican heavyweight champion ever, but the first heavyweight champion that's had a Mexican descent ever. So I'm shocked, man. I'm shocked that this he actually came out and said things like this. I thought he'd keep them to himself, but they say that the truth always comes out, right? The truth will always comes out, right? Now, it's crazy because he talks about Joshua wasn't being Joshua and he was injured and everything. But I'm going to get another quote for you guys that's crazy because after he talks about how Anthony Joshua wasn't in the right state of mind, he actually talks about a rematch being a dumb idea because Joshua can't win again. Now, so he's contradicting himself right there because he talks about how, hey, Anthony Joshua, there's something wrong with him. He wasn't himself. He was injured, he didn't take the guy seriously. But then it said, okay, you think if you win the rematch? No, that's not a good idea. That's not a good idea to have the rematch, right? I'm gonna get some quotes right now. Now this is from Bob Arum. He says, "It's the dumbest thing from the standpoint of a young fighter, Joshua, who you want to bring back to recover. The idea that you put him back in with Ruiz is insane. Give him some fights," Arum said. "Forget about the titles. The titles will always be there. Joshua's a great personality. You shouldn't go back with Anthony Ruiz. Any old boxing guy will tell you that. Unfortunately, his promoter is not a boxing guy." See, there you guys have it right there, man. I mean, I can get more and more quotes, but the guy is just contradicting himself left and right. Keeps talking about how Andy Ruiz shouldn't have won the fight because Anthony Joshua wasn't in the right state of mind. But then he talks about the rematch and he says Anthony Joshua should not take the rematch at all because it's just a bad idea. It's just a bad idea right now. So that being said, he's basically contradicting himself, talking about how Anthony Joshua could win the fight by saying he shouldn't take the rematch. Crazy stuff, man. Bob Arum, man. I mean, he's just contradicting himself, man. Maybe the guy's going senile. I don't know. But what I do know is this: that losing it, Andy Ruiz definitely put a asterisk on Bob Arum's credentials as a promoter, because he's always talking about how everyone was like Ali, but when he had an Ali like Andy Ruiz or a fighter similar to, you know, not like exactly like Ali, but when I mean Ali, I mean like a great fighter, he didn't know. You know, Bob Arum's used to, I think Bob Arum fundamentally likes a certain kind of fighter, at least certain kind of fighter in his eyes. He likes really boxers. He doesn't really have too many brawlers or short, fast guys. He doesn't really believe in them too much. He likes the tall, lanky guys who can box on outside, like a Tyson Fury, like a Lomachenko who uses foot movement. Andy Ruiz is a whole nother kind of fighter. He's a whole nother kind of fighter that history, you know, in my opinion, has never really seen. He has a big build, like he has a big, solid body, and he's super fast. That's really very, very, very unusual for a heavyweight. So that being said, man, Bob Arum was not able to see between the lines, and he's suffering the consequences for it now. And now he's just looking like a straight hater. Now I even linked the video in the description talking about how I said Bob Arum loses his mind after Andy Ruiz wins his fight, and this is way before Bob Arum says anything about it. Right? I made that video like right after Andy Ruiz won a title, because I was aware who Andy Ruiz was before he left Bob Arum. So I knew he was signed to Bob Arum, and then when he let him go, I was shocked. I was mind-boggled. I'm like, he didn't let that guy go. No, he didn't. So as soon as that guy won that title, I knew Bob Arum was very upset about that. And this article displays it. Crazy stuff, man. I can link like 2 or 3 articles. I can link a video of this, and then I can link the article of this. Crazy stuff, man. Crazy stuff. But let me know how you guys feel about it, though, man. I thought this is a really big deal. Let me know how you guys feel about it in the comment section. Like, comment, subscribe. This is the Empire. Geoboxing Empire. Peace.